In this video we return to Leeds Royal Infirmary and it's time to go urban exploring. Last time at URBEX this place was in the middle of the night, so let's URBEX it in the daytime. And just take a look at this old hostel. Look how epic and 1900s it looks. This is a proper old Royal Infirmary. So then when I first started on YouTube there's quite a few old lifts around, but nowadays old lifts are few and far between, which makes it a real treat to see that the old lifts here are still original. So let's get on top of this lift to drive it up to the secret abandoned floors.
What's the beeping?
So then we get off this lift, we leave the lift on normal so if anyone wants to use the lift it doesn't draw attention that a lift's been left on inspection. And we can actually walk downstairs to get out of this abandoned area, and there's a catch on the door to get out, but you couldn't actually open the door from the outside to get into this area, which is why we had to surf the lift up.
Bedside alarm. There's fire alarm.
I did that myself, I didn't know. So it's vandalised.
So then we look around this secret abandoned area, and sadly the condition of it has deteriorated slightly. A couple of windows have been smashed, a few parts look slightly more trashed than they did last time, sadly. And then we find an area which we didn't find last time. But what's that we can hear?
Something up here. What's...
It's music, which means there's workers up here. Where else would there be music other than workers' radios?
What's that radio? Oh, that's fucking creepy.
But then, let's take a listen. The music sounds like it's coming from a really tinny, old-fashioned speaker. It turns out that the very old bedside radios around this abandoned ward are still working and have been left switched on. So this whole ward's abandoned and the radio's been left playing music for years. That is so creepy.
How the fuck's that on? Oh, that's fucking creepy.
So now I'm going to take a look at your x-ray on old-fashioned analogue x-ray paper. I think the dose was like cut to 1/10 when they digitalised x-rays compared to the analogue ones.
The sound quality is terrible.
So we look out of the window and next to this abandoned section there's a whole block which is completely abandoned, which we didn't know about last time. But first we carry on looking around this part.
What's one?
Is it?
Oh, no, let's go. You'll airborne it. You'll airborne it doing it. Oh, my nan had that in her house. Someone to my nan's house.
Should we try and get to our bit?
John, are you ready for your bath?
Oh, I like that old light. Oh, that's nice. Oh.
Right, it's now time for your x-ray. Breathe in and hold still. X-ray's complete. Let's take a look on the computer. Actually, no, there's no computer because it's an old analogue x-ray, so we have to get your x-ray out of the machine, take a look at it. So go back to the lift, and despite being on normal, it's still where we left it, because this lift, when you switch it back to normal, does not move until it gets a call. So that means that very few people are actually using this lift. Let's drive the lift down to the floor below, which is also abandoned.
Oh, look at that. Slides. Oh wow, this bit's trash.
What's machine? Oh, that looks nice.
Look at all these computers, Ash.
That's a bike. It tells you your speed you're cycling. So then, let's now go back to the public parts of this hostel and see if we can find the bridge to this block here, which is completely abandoned. And walking around this hospital, it's so nice to be walking around a proper old-fashioned hostel. It reminds me of hostels like All Saints Hostel, which have been pulled down. There's so many other nice old hostels which have been completely cleaned up and ruined. It's just so awesome to be walking around a hostel that's still proper nice and old. And we got to the door that leads to the bridge to this abandoned block, which is locked shut. So we then go along and take a look outside. Here is this abandoned block, and this block is completely abandoned and it's very securely locked up. Sadly, unlike the block we were just in, where the lower floors were in use but the upper floors were abandoned, where we could drive a lift up to get to the abandoned floors, as this block is completely abandoned, there's no way to get in it, which is very disappointing.
Red asbestos area, this is subject to special precautionary procedures, strictly no unauthorised access.
Definitely 100% abandoned, which is going to make it a lot harder to get in. So then, that's the URBEX of Leeds Royal Infirmary over, so let's now go and do some more urban exploring. And along we go to a university building, which has some Arona lifts, and the top floor is locked. It's the secret plant room, and we can surf up there, but I chickened out again, which is very embarrassing. A number of times I've surfed the plant rooms, and there's been an aggressive plant room guy up there who's gone mental at me. Yeah, so Jordan surfed up, checked the coast is clear, and then called a lift up with me in it. So yeah, I feel a bit embarrassed for chickening out actually surfing a lift with Jordan.
Actually, that's the only one that goes to 6, I think.
And the stairs don't go to 6. Call it! Fucking hell, how do we get out here? Yay, we roofed it. We're on the roof. Crane up there. Leeds Becky University up there. Nice crane up there. We roofed it. Because Jordan surfed a lift. I was too scared to do it, so he called me up. And that's how you get on the roof of Leeds Beckett University.
That's the top of classrooms over there.
Yeah, now see us on the roof. Yay! Oh, and that's what it looks like up here. So sadly the upper roof was padlocked. Oh well. And along we go to a hotel which has a Schindler 3300.
Oh, quite easy.
Well, is it the Mark 1s of the 3300 seem pretty cheap?
We want you to leave some feedback.
Leave some feedback. It was a very nice lift surf. It's a bit boring. It's 3300. So then, it's time for the Russian buzzer. So Russian buzzer's buzzing. Will Putin speak over the buzzer, or is it just going to buzz? No way, there's a rare message on the buzzer. No way. The buzzer only gives a message like once every year, and I've got it on camera. That is so rare. And we go into a shopping centre which only has a rubbish platform lift. Lift not levelled. Door closing. That's how you bypass having to phone security to use the lift. You use your triangle key. And security leave the lift parked in between floors to stop you accessing it. Just by opening a door. But luckily, magical crucifix overrides shitty intercom. You see it turns round. Is that following? I think it's following us. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is. That's following me. It's following me.
There's my security cameras follow.
No, it's always recording at all times in the centre. And have a look at what images you've taken, please.
baby, can't. And security went mental at us. They illegally detained me, which is false imprisonment, demanding I'd delete my photos. And they said they wouldn't let me leave unless I'd delete them, which is also assault, because the definition of assault is the threat of unlawful violence, and to say you'd stop me leaving is a threat of violence for no lawful reason, because you cannot detain, you can't citizen's arrest for a civil offence. You can only citizen's arrest for a criminal offence. And taking pictures in a building is not an offence of any kind. But if they say you're not allowed to come in and take pictures, then that'd be trespass, which would be civil. And this shopping centre were really, really angry. They were shouting at me for quite a while, and eventually I managed to get away. That's a threat of violence for an unlawful reason. Threat of unlawful, that was assault. No, you made me delete, otherwise you would detain me. So that was, no, that was assault.
You need permission to take
No, but you can't make me delete. You can't make me delete. That was assault.
because you're not private property.
No, I've got it officially from the police. You can't. I've got it officially.
I'll tell you what, we'll get the police.
Hey, message to YouTube. I've got 3 security guards.
What? Yeah, 501. I've got 2 males, and they're wearing red lanyards, and they are being very.
So now we go along to the next lift.
Stand clear of the doors. Stand clear of the doors.
Where's it got no cone voice? Real mixture. You wouldn't thought so for all that Dewhurst. Yeah, it's just cone. Does it car preference message in that voice? No.
Floor 4. Doors opening. Ground floor. Doors opening.
Right, are they extending it?
Looks like it, doesn't it?
That camera starts moving. They do actually move.
Look at that great big thing. It looks like beefy, big fatty camera. Ooh.
Does that have an alarm?
I don't know.
Why did it go alarmed?
I don't know. Oh, that's the starting alarm. So if you press to go, then you can send it. And along we go to Wakefield, and along we go to a typical Wakefield tower block lift, which is an old lift that's been modernised by a cone with LCE logic. Why a bit of that mat on the floor?
It's the WDH lift. Capacity 630 kilograms. 8 persons. Security camera up there.
Quite slow. I hope it's levels well since it's got LCE logic. Oh, it's on a blind VF. So using an on one.
These are like express doors. Yeah, we just went on top of it just to have a quick lift surf. And we're in lift shaft on top on inspection. The keys for the motor room so we can adjust all the settings on the VF drive because inspection. Yeah, the inspection speed's too slow, so we just want to go on top of lift and just ride up and down on top of lift for 4 hours. But the inspection's a bit too slow, so we want the keys to the motor room so we can what do you call this? You know, so we can change the settings.
Oh, the caretaker's going to let us lift, sir. And along we go to a really awesome old Evans lift, and this lift has a Ball Motors Superstart. And what's really sad is that Ball Motors Superstarts are actually really rare now. That is so depressing, and most of the ones I know of have been replaced, meaning that this lift is now really rare. I've not been in one of these for long. It's called Ball Motors Superstar. When did you last hear Ball Motors Superstar?
I hear it all the time every time I come in here.
Okay, other than this lift, when have you last heard it?
I am.
It's really rare. It used to be everywhere. There, Stanton Staveley, first generation from 1950s, Major Road Edition. It's rare because look at the decorative, goes up to here. So that's Major Road Edition rather than the regular side street edition. But sadly, the top's changed. I'm still yet to find one with an original top. So now we go along to the next lift.
I like the new VF drive sounds better than the old ones. There's lift.
11th floor. Oh look, it's got a shield! Oh, we're important. We're a #1 club. Quality service. We ain't got a cone logo. Doors open. Camera. There's so many of them. And now we go along to the shopping centre and let's climb up onto the roof.
Is that a custom voice? Is that Juice Grove?
Never knew you had a Pickering's here.
No?
Pickering's is gone, like long gone.
Do you think the lift's still in the shaft?
Probably. Heading shopping centre, roof time! Look everyone, we roofed ridings, because you know what riding security is like, eh? Detain people for no reason illegally. So for that reason we just had to roof this building, because we can. Ridings roof level. They should have a lift that comes up here, especially for us. And security were not very happy. Oh dear.
So what? What's going up there? Yeah. Are you stupid? Yeah.
No, I'm just a bit... Don't you want to come up there?
I can get up there. You're not allowed. Sure. So why were you really late? You said you let it be. I just was complaining.
We were talking about getting on blue.
So you don't have a key?
No.
That violation. Private property, trespass